And good morning, everybody. Welcome. Hot Takes, Goodman and Haertl. How are you, my friend?
I am good, ready to go on this Thursday. A little shared practice in San Francisco. The depth chart is out. The first one of the season. Okay.
Yeah.
So we've got that to comb through today.
That's very exciting.
Very exciting.
So I don't know what's more exciting, the depth chart or the way the Rockies are playing. But before we get to either, I want to let you know about Roller Auction, the leader in Colorado auctions for over 45 years, Tuesday. The Janus Cycle Group is having an auction for a lathe, bandsaw, air compressor, tool cabinets, bike stands, bicycle rims, workbenches, hand tools, and more. Online bidding is started at rollerauction.com. And don't forget, go to rollerauction.com to check out upcoming auctions. Get what you want at the price you want today at a Roller Auction. Time now for the lead.
The lead is presented by Smokin' Dave's Barbecue. It is not just the best barbecue in town, it is one of the best restaurants in town. You can find Smokin' Dave's Barbecue off 36th and Pecos.
Well, the Rockies made history again yesterday, and it's not because they were blown out. 20-1. The Blue Jays outscored the Rockies 45-6 in their three-game series. Still, that's not the history I'm talking about. Here's the historic low again for the Roccos. They gave up 13 home runs and 63 hits in the three-game series. That's the most ever compiled in baseball history over the course of a three-game series. I have very little doubt, Bruce, that Bill Schmidt's going to be fired.
Oh.
Why not now?
Yeah.
The draft is over.
Right.
There's no free agency for him to really look at. Shouldn't he really right now just be cleaning out his office?
Yes. And I'm wondering how much I'm going to lock into the Rockies moving forward.
What do you mean by that? What do you mean lock in?
Well, I mean, locking when I lock in, it's like I really pay attention to the franchise. I pay attention to what they're doing. Their player movements. I pay attention to what's going on in AAA. I pay attention to what prospects are doing in AA. I try to get a sense for where they're going with their franchise. I'm a baseball guy, and I'm done with the Rockies. I think I'm just, until there is some form of demonstrated ability moving forward and consistency in a plan. Look, they don't have to be good. They just have to be on the right track.
Competent.
Yeah, let's start with competent. Competence is a good place to start. They have not been a competent franchise for as long now as I can remember, unfortunately.
Allow me, if you would, to share a story with you. Many, many, many years ago, I coached Little League Baseball. Mm-hmm. So my co-coach, Bob, called me yesterday, and he texted me on a group chat. By the way, do group chats bother you on texts?
The only group chat that I like are my immediate family.
Okay.
The kids and stuff like that. That actually is okay. Other than that, I have no time for it.
It bothers the hell out of me.
Yeah.
I really don't care what somebody who I don't know has to say when there are 8 of us on there.
Right.
Immediately, it's going to be mute or delete. I just don't have the time, like Pavlov's dog, to keep checking my phone. When the thing dings, it's like, okay, it's time for dinner. It's time for dinner. Maybe it's an important text. Maybe I need to get it. And it's some guy who I've never met before, and he says something. I'm like, I really don't care. Mm-hmm. Point is, my good friend Bob put me on a group text because he was at the Rockies game last week, the 17-16 game. He and I coached Little League together. He said, we played better baseball than these guys did in that particular game. He said it was like watching a Little League game. But I digress. Keep going about I'm not going to watch the Rockies for a while.
Yeah, I'm just going to disconnect until they give me a reason to come back to them. And right now, I don't see what that would be. I've exhausted the whole, there's a few guys that I'm interested in kind of take. There really aren't that many guys right now that I'm interested in. So until they have really good prospects up and they're producing and you can get a sense, I mean, they've got to totally revamp their pitching. Their pitching is beyond abysmal. I mean, I think their collective starting ERA in the last 3 weeks has been close to 10. I mean, it's like you might as well put the ball on a tee and let the other team start the play by hitting it. I mean, it's hardly even worth throwing it anymore. So, and frankly, it insults me to think that by just putting out a product on a beautiful field in a great stadium in a great place and knowing that the experience of going to a ball game is the only thing to entice me, it doesn't entice me anymore. That's where I'm at.
Well, Bruce, you have far more power than you believe that you have. You are a main anchor at Fox 31 in the sports department. You have choices. As I've said about the show that we have done together on radio, and I will say the same thing about this podcast, we have the power to decide what we would like to put in this rundown.
Yeah.
Never talk about the Rockies. To me, generally speaking, unless you are playing 500 ball or better, certainly this late in the season, if you are not, or if you're that far below, I'm not going to talk about you on the show.
Yeah.
I'm not going to give you any airtime. You're not worth it to me. So here's my suggestion for you and Dave Althouse. Stop running highlights.
Yeah.
What's the point? You have the power. Ignore them until they start getting better. And you know what? Maybe all the stations should band together as a little pact. Talk to Romy. Talk to Lionel. Talk to the guy at 9 News and say, how about we all decide we're not going to run highlights anymore? Or what you could do is, which is something that I would do, I would run the highlights. I'd put Benny Hill music behind it, speed it up, and do it as a Nat Sound full package for 15 seconds. When you speed it up, flash up the score, boom, that's it, and you're done. Do something that makes a statement.
That's a pretty good piece of advice. The one thing that I think has been kind of consistent this year is the theme that embrace the suck. Our good friend Emmanuel Sanders.
The Broncos weren't that bad. The Broncos weren't that bad.
Oh, no, the Broncos weren't that bad. But if you're going to be bad, be historically bad.
Yep.
And I think that's where the Rockies are. I've kind of gone back and forth a little bit to like they are going to smash the record to maybe they eke in underneath to back to, they're going to lose. They're going to lose a new record. I mean, there's no way this team is going to win 41 games. And when I watch them like I did, now look, Toronto's a good team playing well and with purpose, but that doesn't make it. You can't lose Major League Baseball games by the margins that you're losing them at home, by the way.
Right.
I mean, it's just an absolute utter embarrassment. It really is.
I don't want to call out a guy in the media, but I guess I'm about to.
Oh, here we go.
Maybe I'm an old school guy, but I think there's a way to split the baby on this. I don't know the new main guy at 9 News. What's his name? I met him. I didn't meet him. You were talking to him when I was standing next to you at training camp the other day.
Scotty Gage?
Scotty Gage.
Yeah.
Scotty, if you want to be Drew Soicher, that's fine. Please stop singing, okay? And making it a whole musical production, okay? I think we're past that. Do Benny Hill music. That's it. And I think that would be funny.
Okay.
Or just ignore them completely.
I mean, you guys are fairly close to the whole thing then. I mean,
what do you mean?
You've got similar ideas. I mean, both of you are having some fun at their.
Yeah, but I'm not making it about me. I'm not making it about me where I'm doing a tap dance routine with a cane and a top hat and look at me, look at me, look at me. I suppose I shouldn't be saying this about a fellow media member, but they had a guy like that in Drew Soicher, and he's looked at Drew Soicher light. And I can't believe I'm even going off on this tangent. If you're going to do something, but don't make it about you. Do some Benny Hill music. Do it for 15 seconds, flash the score, and you're done. And then when the weather department comes to you and says, ooh, we're having bad weather, say, don't worry about it. Our Rockies highlights are only 15 seconds. We'll be able to give you the time back for weather. Do something. Oh, the media and television needs to stand together because everybody would agree. Unless for some reason you have a partnership, Fox 31 has a partnership with the Rockies.
Well, Channel 9 does. They do
Fine.
have a partnership with
well, I'm sure they feel great about what Scotty's doing.
Well,
mocking them,
Scotty's,
which we would mock them anyway.
Scotty's a talented guy.
I didn't say he wasn't talented.
He's a talented guy.
I didn't say he wasn't talented. What I'm saying is he is Drew Soicher light. I'm saying I would not do a Broadway routine. Point is, you guys should band together and do something, or just don't show the highlights. That's your protest. Because honestly, I don't think people really care about Rockies highlights anyway. You've eaten up your time to cover the Broncos, the Nuggets, or the Avalanche.
There hasn't been a compelling story really all summer long.
No.
Hunter Goodman's run up to the All-Star game. Okay. Other than that, there hasn't been a compelling story about the Rockies all summer long, other than chasing history, the type of history you don't want to chase. That's it.
Right.
Okay.
We've given the Rockies an unprecedented 7 minutes on the show. Are we done?
Yeah, we're done. We're done.
So I get a huge kick out of this word, the unofficial depth chart. If that isn't mocking what the depth chart is supposed to be all about, I don't know what mocking truly is. So the Broncos released what they call their unofficial depth chart. RJ Harvey is listed as fifth. Clearly, he's not the fifth string running back. This is really kind of poking back from Sean Payton on doing something he doesn't want to do, even though he has to do it. And honestly, when you look at it, we know that RJ Harvey has been taking first string snaps. He's not fifth string. But let's just start with this. Is it really Sean Payton's dig back at Roger Goodell that they officially call it the unofficial depth chart?
I don't know. That's a fair question. He clearly is not interested in the process.
Right.
And we've had fun with that over the course of the now third year that he has put out these unofficial, sometimes official depth charts. But I was expecting rookies to be deep on the depth chart because now that's what we have learned about Sean Payton. He puts his rookies deep in the depth chart. And so,
where was Bo Nix? Where was Bo Nix last year when the unofficial depth chart came out?
Yeah, he was not. He was
third.
He was never first. I can.
No, he was third.
Yeah.
He was third.
Yeah.
And was he taking snaps with the first string? Yes, he was.
Sure.
And oh, by the way, his backup was Stidham, took first string snaps. But who was the other guy? Can't even remember his name anymore. He was here for a couple. Zach Wilson was listed ahead of Bo Nix, and Zach Wilson wasn't taking snaps, if I'm not mistaken, really with the first string offense. He might have a little bit.
Yeah, just a little bit. But no, it's one of those. It's one of those things that Sean just kind of, you know what? He finds it amusing, and so he amuses himself by putting it out there, and then he has a chuckle, and so good for him.
Here, something just occurred to me. Sean Payton can get away with this, and here's the reason why. Not because he could be a Hall of Fame head coach. He can get away with this because the team is going to be probably pretty good. They made the playoffs last year. He improved in his first season. If this team, the last 2 years, was 4 wins and 5 wins, and then he puts out an unofficial depth chart, he looks like a jackass. But because they're winning, because they have turned this whole thing around, no one even bats an eye at it.
No.
That's what winning does. It covers things for you that some people might raise an eyebrow at. But you're like, dude's winning. Who cares?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I'm not so sure Sean would care anyway, but
he wouldn't care. But I think all of us, at least, okay, not all of us, I would look at it and say, dude, your team blows. How about taking this seriously? I would look at it that way. It's like you don't have any room to poke fun at Roger Goodell when you're 4 wins and 5 wins. When you are turning it around in your first year, 10 wins in your second year, you got your quarterback, people are talking about you nationally, you can pretty much get away with whatever you want to, right? That's what winning does. With that, when you looked at the depth chart, was there anything you could possibly glean from it that gives you an indication, this guy's higher up than we thought, or this guy might be on the bubble and could get cut?
No, because I gave it such a cursory look, knowing how it was presented to us.
Yeah.
With the level of seriousness that it was presented to us, and recognized immediately that this was not going to be something that I needed to pay attention to. In other words, as soon as I saw RJ Harvey in the 5-hole, which I must admit, I chuckled at.
Yes.
I chuckled at it. I did. I was like, okay, Sean, it was all good for me, but that was kind of the last that I even looked at it. So I'm unimportant.
I figured that you would do that. I'm thinking maybe I'll just do that as well. What's the point? Right. You know, I did find it interesting that Skinner is 3rd string.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's a bubble guy.
Well, there are yes, and that might be a more interesting part of the conversation.
But we're going way down here. And it's funny, I always get a kick out of when cuts happen, the final round of cuts, who's going to make it, who's not going to make it. I always say the same thing, and maybe you want to get me back on track on this because of how I feel. Generally speaking, it really doesn't matter to me who the bottom 5 guys are. Want to know why? I don't want them playing anyway.
Right.
I really don't care. I mean, congratulations, you made the team. You're an NFL player. But if we are spending a lot of time talking about your third, let's say Skinner makes it. I don't mean any disrespect to him.
Right. No.
When I say this. If we are spending time, well, should it be, I don't know, should it be Locke? Who's going to make the team? But I'm just picking 2 guys.
Right.
Is it going to be, well, I suppose I could get more specific.
I mean, you've got Locke and Skinner. Those are 2 safeties right there. So
right. But I'm thinking of a guy who, maybe is on the bubble. So let's just say it's Locke and Skinner. Both guys are on the bubble. I'm not going to spend a lot of time dissecting and hashing out which guy is better.
No.
I don't want either guy on the field, not because they can't play, but they're 3rd string on the depth chart. Now, I understand they play special teams, but very rarely do you make Terrell Davis type of plays in special teams.
Yeah. The interesting thing about this roster is there are so few spots available on it.
Right.
We knew that going in. Mm-hmm. We have a fairly good idea of what the roster will look like. Right. Practice squad will be a little more interesting if you are the type of person that gets into those weeds, because that's kind of next level stuff. There will be movement between the regular squad and the practice squad. There is every single year. There are guys that are activated off the practice squad each and every week. But there are so few jobs on this team and on this roster that are available right now. I guess you could see a couple of familiar names be on the chopping block late if they decide that they want to go younger. Okay, maybe. I do think this, Eric, and I think this is the first time that we've been able to say this in a while. I think guys that get cut off this roster will end up somewhere else in the league. Yes. We've seen guys go somewhere else, and then 2 weeks later, they're like vapor. Go see if you can find Greg Dulcich for instance, on a roster right now. He's not on one. There are guys that the Broncos have gotten rid of over the last couple of years that are no longer playing football anywhere. I think that they have a roster now. Guys will catch on. And that's really, that's notable. Notable, I guess.
It's funny that you brought up Greg Dulcich's name. Do you use ChatGPT much?
No.
Okay. I would highly recommend it for you because of the business that you're in.
Mm-hmm.
It is, I'm saying something to people that they already know, like 95% of the population. You're part of the 5%.
Oh, I'm very well aware of it. I mean, I have people in marketing around here and working in all kinds of things that use these things and use AI. I just choose it doesn't.
Okay. So if I said to you, and I'm going to use an actual example.
Okay.
Who were the 4 or 5 guys in the tight end room that made the cut last year? Would you know that off the top of your head?
Yeah, Atkins, Kroll, Troutman. I'm missing one, but yeah. I mean, I think I'd do pretty well.
Okay. Point is, I did not go on Google for that. But if you did not know off the top of your head, how would you research it?
Oh,
like if I said to you, who were the middle linebackers that made the cut last year? You might know off the top of your head, but if you didn't, how would you look it up?
Oh yeah, you'd go to Google or whatever it is.
You go to ChatGPT because it gives it to you in a matter of seconds.
Yes.
So the point is, I forgot who the tight ends were.
Yeah.
Who made the team. And so it showed me. And then it mentioned Greg Dulcich's name.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Right.
And I'm thinking, God, that name was like a flash from the past.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, wait, he was on the team last year, wasn't he?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Had his chance. 2 drop balls early on, and that was the end. If you ever need to know the difference between being a guy and being a forgotten, look at Greg Dulcich. Greg Dulcich was in high leverage situations. Boom. 2 drops early, and that was it. He was gone.
As I've said multiple times when we did our radio show together, Greg Dulcich is a talented guy, injured way too much, which is unfortunate.
Yeah.
Some guys just have the misfortune of their body failing on them. But as I was told many times, and I've said this to you, you know who my source is on this, the problem for Greg Dulcich was never talent. It was understanding the playbook.
Right.
That's why he's no longer with the team. Injuries play a major role. Probably the main reason, but a very close number 2, unless you want to call it 1A and 1B. He had a difficult time grasping the playbook. Coming up after the break, the Broncos are out in the San Francisco area getting ready for their one practice against the 49ers. Who do you think, or what do you think the Broncos are going to get more out of? That one practice or the game on Saturday? That's next. Everyone has their favorite barbecue spot. Mine, Smokin' Dave's Barbecue and Brew. My favorites, slowly smoked ribs, smoked corned beef Reuben, smoked meatloaf with a portobello balsamic cream sauce. And don't forget about Smokin' Dave's 16-hour smoked brisket and pork with one of their 4 homemade barbecue sauces. Great sides, you bet. Barbecue beans made with pork and brisket and their southern corn bake. Man, you got to try it. Plus, they have amazing non-barbecue entrees on the menu. Go where I go, Smokin' Dave's Barbecue and Brew in North Denver.
Ever wondered where city and county fleet vehicles go when they retire? Now's your chance to find out and score big. Imagine driving away with a great deal on a reliable vehicle. For over 45 years, Roller Auction has been the trusted source for government fleet vehicles and equipment. Trucks, SUVs, sedans, and more, all selling to the highest bidder. Don't miss out. Visit roller.bid/hot takes to get auction updates today. Your next vehicle could be just a click away.
Spice up your next night out at Nola Jane and Lodo. Authentic Cajun cuisine like andouille sausage gumbo with dirty rice, crawfish etouffee, as well as 6 different po' boys like soft-shell crab and shrimp. Come in before or after a game at Ball Arena. Host a party or party on their rooftop deck overlooking Market Street during happy hour from 11 a.m. to 5. Plus, Nola Jane caters, delivers, and the kitchen is open late night. Make Nola Jane your new favorite spot to eat, drink, and party like it's Mardi Gras.
Ferguson's Heating and Cooling is the best in Denver, and their customers agree. Ferguson's has 165 5-star Google reviews, and here's one from Betsy. Highly professional, prompt, and honest. I switched to Ferguson's when I became aware my former company was trying to sell me a whole new system I didn't need. Ferguson's is an honest, working, family-owned business that'll give you a fair price, the highest quality parts and equipment, and they always show up on time. You can trust the Ferguson family like you trust your own family. Go to fergusonsheatingandcooling.com.
Everyone has their favorite sports bar. Mine, the Sportsbook Bar and Grill in Highlands Ranch in the DTC. Both locations are everything a sports bar should be. An upscale menu with 12 different burgers, outstanding wings, and my favorite, the Philly cheesesteak egg rolls. They've got every game on the NFL Sunday Ticket, MLB Extra Innings, NHL Center Ice, NBA League Pass, plus soccer, rugby, and UFC. Sportsbook is a hangout bar or great for private parties. The Sportsbook Bar and Grill in Highlands Ranch, the DTC, and coming soon to Parker. They are the sports bar.
Sasquatch and Wildcard Casinos in Blackhawk have another incredible promotion. They'll be giving away a new Sea-Doo, 4-wheeler, or the cash award from the Big Wheel Spin, plus $7,500 in cash. The grand prize drawing is the weekend of August 16th, and get finalist entries every 45 minutes from 10 a.m. to midnight during their daily cash drawing, with a locked-up jackpot of $100 or more. Sasquatch and Wildcard Casinos. Loose slots, great promotions, great food, and a family-owned casino that treats you like family.
Welcome back. Hot Takes Goodman and Haertl. Want to tell you about Smokin' Dave's Barbecue. Best barbecue spot in town, one of the best restaurants in town. Dave, the owner, he had a past life, so he's taken everything that he learned. He put it into Smokin' Dave's. They are dotted all over the place in the metro area. You can find them off of 36 and Pecos, but when you're driving up to Estes Park, you'll see a bunch of them certainly along the way. You know, their slowly smoked ribs are great. Their brisket's outstanding. They do the typical barbecue things like everybody else, just to level up. But with the way they put together their menu, you need to see it to believe it. Their sides are outstanding. Their desserts are all homemade. It's not like you get a cookie at the counter for dessert. Their bread pudding, homemade bread pudding, is fantastic. You could go there just for that. Just promise me, go check it out and see how good they are. And you'd be like, I love my barbecue spot, but these guys are next level. Smokin' Dave's Barbecue. Time now for What's Trending.
What's Trending is presented by Ferguson's Heating and Cooling. Your family should trust the Ferguson family for all your heating and cooling needs, and you'll see why they have over 165 5-star Google reviews. Make an appointment today at fergusonsheatingandcooling.com.
If you had to make a choice, Bruce, as the Broncos get ready for their one practice against the 49ers, would you rather have a preseason game or a joint practice?
Joint practice. And to me, it's not even close. And I see value in exhibition games. You always want to see back end of your roster, guys in game situations, that kind of stuff. But we've already talked about it. There aren't that many spots that we are really looking for to fill for the Denver Broncos. I mean, game stuff always has its benefits. But give me a situation where I can control the narrative, where I can control the situations, where I can say, hey, Kyle, talking about Kyle Shanahan now, can we work pressure here in this situation in red zone, for instance? Can you send somebody from this? I want to see how this guy operates, and you can do the same for your opponent. I'm not saying they're that cooperative, but you do have generally control over the situations. 3rd and 8. You know where down and distance is. You can work certain things. So I like the shared practices. I think that you get, if the preseason is more than anything about evaluation, obviously you're trying to get installs in and you're building your team. But as much as anything, if it's about evaluation, you're looking for the most valuable tools with which to evaluate, right? Mm-hmm. So I think it's anytime that you can get together with a team like the 49ers, where I think there won't be any stupidness. I think they'll get along. They'll take care of their business. It'll be professional. I hope it'll be much the same next week with the Cardinals. I think you can get a lot out of it. I really do.
I think you can get a lot out of it as well. I would take the exhibition game.
Okay.
For two reasons. One, in a joint practice, you would never have had the Terrell Davis hit in Tokyo.
Right.
Okay. You wouldn't know that.
Yep.
You wouldn't know what this guy is made of. Number two, you can learn very little, if almost nothing, about who's good at tackling.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And football is about tackling.
Yep. Yeah, they try. It doesn't always work this way, as you and I know.
Yep.
They try very hard not to bring guys to the ground. There's that initial hit, wrap up, but you kind of try to leave it alone. And you're right. And so from that standpoint, yes, it's not football, right? It's not football in the way that we see it. I think you can make the argument that exhibition football isn't football as we see it, but it is a game-like situation.
Very much so.
Field. You're in front of people.
Yes.
The lights, even if you're playing in the light of day, the lights are on.
Right.
There is a different feeling of getting ready to go do that, and there is value in that. But we're seeing less and less of exhibitions. You and I remember, I vaguely remember 6 games, like way, way back in the day. But I certainly remember 4. Now we're down to 3. It's pretty soon we're going to go 18 games in the regular season. It's going to be 2 games in the exhibition season. So I think.
Why do you think they cut down the an exhibition game? Because I'll give you one solid reason why I think that there's one less exhibition game.
Well, it's money. There better be one less exhibition game.
No, it's money. You can't sell it.
Well, I get that. I get
that's why they did it. It's money. You can't sell it. Yeah, you can get ticket revenue, although you get pissed off season ticket holders who have to pay full price for a preseason ticket. Mm-hmm. That's not fun.
No. But you don't get great television money. It's all third tier kind of stuff, so
that's why they did it.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with safety. It has nothing to do with anything but the national networks aren't going to pick it up.
No. Well, I think that everything has changed. The amount of contact, the amount of time they're on the field, the game continues to evolve in the way that players get to play. But you're right. Ownership will always retain at least 1 or 2 home games if they possibly can, because it's money in their pocket. Yes, they won't go away. But I can see a scenario very soon where there's only 2 exhibition games instead of 3.
Okay. With that, this preseason game, this joint practice features 2 of the, I would say, best coaches in the league. Yeah. Kyle Shanahan and Payton. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right now, who would you rather have as your head coach? Because a lot of people wanted Kyle Shanahan back in the day.
I'd rather have Sean Payton right now.
Why?
Well, first of all, he's had 3 years to shape this franchise in his own image. And I think that the Broncos are ascending. The 49ers have obviously been on a much higher level. They've been to a couple of Super Bowls. But I think that from a is it the difference between Bo Nix and Brock Purdy? And look, Brock Purdy shouldn't apologize to anyone. Brock Purdy has done a fantastic job as a frontline guy in this league. I just think that the Broncos have more momentum right now moving forward. I think I think the 49ers are, and I don't want to say transitional because that makes it sound like, because they've still been at a high level, but I do think in a relative sense, they may be a little more transitional right now. So if you're going to give me an either or, I'll take Payton right now with the Broncos.
Yeah, you can make an argument for Kyle Shanahan.
You can, absolutely.
With Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch rebuilt that organization, and it was garbage before he joined. They struggled in his first 2 years.
Yeah.
And the Broncos have not struggled in their first 2 years under Sean Payton. With Kyle Shanahan, it's feast or famine. Either you're winning 5 or 6 games or you're winning 12 or 13.
Yeah, you're right. Yep.
The thing with Kyle Shanahan is, and unfortunately, he is starting to get a scarlet letter for this.
Mm-hmm.
Can't win the big game.
Right.
Okay. Now, I'll pump up Kyle Shanahan in this sense. He has done something that I don't know if Sean Payton could do. Maybe he could, but I don't know if he could. Can you take a marginal quarterback, or maybe a little bit better than average, and win a lot of games and maybe get to a Super Bowl? Colin Kaepernick was a very talented, but from the neck up, he really wasn't that great. Didn't have a lot of work ethic. Went to a Super Bowl with that guy. Look at what he's done with Brock Purdy. Now, granted, there is talent around him, but then again, you need the quarterback to get that guy the ball. Kyle Shanahan is tremendous at developing quarterbacks. If you want to say that Sean Payton helped put Drew Brees into the Hall of Fame, that is a very fair statement. But Drew Brees came to the New Orleans Saints with a Pro Bowl on his resume in the Marty Schottenheimer offense,
Right.
which is pretty hard to do.
Yep.
I mean, you and I both covered the Chiefs.
Sure.
How many Pro Bowl quarterbacks outside of Joe Montana did Marty Schottenheimer have?
Well, they're Marty ball, right? I mean, you run the ball. Ran the ball first, second, and third, and then figured out the rest of it. So,
and for Sean Payton, you can make the case if it wasn't for a ridiculously bad call when he was with the Saints against Minnesota, he could have won another Super Bowl.
Could have. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. I mean, I think that both coaches still have a lot to write in their history, right? I mean, I think they both have things to accomplish. Sean is in the middle of it right now. Kyle has been there 3 times. God, he had a chance when he was with Atlanta, and they basically had a game 1. I mean, let's just call it what it was. I mean, and what, they had that game 1. And you can make the argument they had one of the 2 Super Bowls against the Chiefs one as well. They were leading into the fourth quarter by 9 points or whatever it is. Don't quote me on that, but a significant lead into the fourth quarter. Of course, no significant lead is very significant when you're playing against Patrick Mahomes. We get that. But anyway, I think that there's still work to be done that will invigorate both coaches. I think that there's still a lot to look forward to, both for Kyle Shanahan and for Sean Payton. We're seeing it for Sean Payton right now. Kyle is in one of those spots where you rightfully point out there's been a little bit of feast and famine. I'm sure that 49ers fans would like to see a little more consistency, and maybe that's the goal.
This is where Kyle Shanahan is, in my opinion, and where Sean Payton is. Sean Payton, if he gets to a Super Bowl, he's in the Hall of Fame in the next 5 years. All he has to do is get to one. Doesn't even have to win it.
Right.
With the way he has turned around this franchise.
Yeah.
If he turns if he gets to a bunch of AFC championship games, but Bo Nix becomes a top 5 quarterback in this league, Sean Payton goes to the Hall of Fame. Kyle Shanahan has to win a Super Bowl. Has to win a Super Bowl to even be considered.
Yeah.
Unless he's going to go down the Bud Grant trail, which is you go to 4, don't win any, but you're still in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
For Kyle Shanahan, he's been to 2. He's got 2 more to go. Marv Levy is different. He didn't win a Super Bowl, but he went to 4 in a row.
Right. Yeah. I mean, yeah. That there's great value in that, isn't there? That's part of the consistency that I'm talking about. I mean, when you look at Bud Grant was a pretty consistent. The Vikings were a fairly consistent franchise, right?
Yeah.
The Bills were certainly a model of consistency. My
Covered
goodness.
them.
I mean,
Covered them. I'm aware.
I mean, that was a great franchise, not a good one, a great franchise, and a time for that franchise. And they're in a similar situation now, but not even to the level that they were then when they were going to Super Bowls each and every year. I mean, They threaten it now, but they haven't been to one. So, yeah, it's interesting when you start doling out legacies. And I guess that's probably where I started. These are two coaches that still have room to write up and to improve the legacy. And I think that you put it well. I think that I think that you were right on target in both cases, what they need.
I don't know how this just popped into my head. Happens to be two teams that I covered. Not one of them I didn't cover in the day in the 80s. And when I covered the Bills, it was after their final Super Bowl appearance in the 90s. Which fan base had it worse? The Broncos fan base in the 80s with 3 Super Bowl blowouts, although they weren't in a row, or the Bills who had 4 Super Bowl losses in a row. The first one, they lost because of a missed field goal. And by the way, people conveniently forget for Scott Norwood, it was a swirling wind on that 47-yard attempt. But after that, Thurman Thomas forgets his helmet. The Bills are in it in the first half against the Redskins, and then poof, like the Roadrunner with Wile E. Coyote, the Mark Rippon and the Redskins were just gone. And they blew it out. And then the Bills ran into a bandsaw.
Yeah.
Ran into a lathe that, by the way, you can buy on roller auction next Tuesday. Notice how I worked at it.
Well done. Very
Good night,
nice,
everybody. So which fan base had it worse?
The Bills. But let me say something before I jump on that. You brought up Scott Norwood, and I was thinking of him. It's so interesting. And I haven't thought about Scott Norwood in a long time. But
why would you have?
But I thought about him this week when I noticed on social media the tour that they did for Josh Allen and elements of the Bills into the new facility that they're building, which is an open air facility in Buffalo. But it has been specifically designed to shut down, to cut off all of the wind. Right. And I was sitting there thinking, well, where the hell was that 20-some years ago or whatever it was, right?
How do you cut off the snow? How do you cut off the snow?
How do you cut off the snow? You better have a lot of heat rising out of that thing, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, I think it's the Bills, though. And the reason is because what you just kind of pointed out, the closeness that they had within a 4-year period. Now, one of those games was not even worth discussing.
Two of them.
Yeah.
Both against the Cowboys were routes.
Yeah.
And then in the second half, the Bills got their doors blown off by the Redskins in the second half.
But they were in positions to win 2 other games.
Yes.
And they were in them in 4 straight years. The grind of, first of all, the joy of getting to a Super Bowl can sustain a fan base for a little bit. But then once you are going in multiple times, then it's like, well, you got to win one of these games, right? You can't go 0 for 4, for God's sakes.
Right.
You got to win one of those games. So I think in terms of long suffering, I think it's got to be the Bills. And you were around it. You know it better than anyone, for goodness sakes. Yeah. That has an effect on a city.
Yeah. So, all I know is both fan bases, from the people that I've talked to in the 80s about the Broncos and then the 90s with the Bills, there was a feeling, not all, but amongst many in both fan bases, do we really want to go to another Super Bowl?
Yeah.
We do, but the history suggests it is just going to be another really bad day.
Yeah. Well,
and I don't want to have to go through that again.
I mean, hell, even Peyton Manning had one of those. I mean, and yeah, I'm not putting it all on Peyton Manning, obviously, but they had one of those games. But but they got their 2 from Elway, and they got their 1 from Peyton, and
Yep.
and a great defense, and all of those things, and those things were, I mean, to go to 8 Super Bowls, that still puts you in very elite company as a franchise.
Right.
So, I mean, they're a legacy franchise.
No
The Denver
question.
Broncos are. And
Well,
now the question is, how quickly can Sean Payton get back to a 9th Super Bowl for this franchise? Don't know.
Yeah. Well, they certainly didn't seem like a legacy franchise following the Super Bowl and before Sean Payton came to town.
Right.
They were the New York Jets.
Yeah. Yeah.
They were the and the New York Jets are still the New York Jets.
Yeah. No, you're right. Yeah.
So, all right, that's going to do it for us. Hot Takes, Goodman and Haertl. Make the best possible day you can.